Hey everybody, it's Noah, Editor-in-Chief here at the Arc of E Network, back to introduce another Flashback Friday episode. And this week we're going to take you all the way back to an early Music Arc episode. This was one of the cooler early projects that Gavin and I did together. This was our music school series, based around the concept of debut albums being freshman albums and sophomore, second, so on. I was going to do the debut episode, but I looked back through our Spotify numbers since we've had the feed up there for a bit, and some of you have gone back and checked that one out, which is amazing, but some people didn't make it through the entire school, if you will, and that is kind of there's a running theme through that series, if you check it all out. So, given that it's our 4th year, happy anniversary once again to us, I'm going to do the senior albums, the final thesis, if you will, from a lot of these bands, or that's how we presented it. Anyways, it's a fun one. You've got some Zeppelin on there, Bowie, Future Islands, Daft Punk, Bob Dylan. There's some good tunes to be heard throughout. So check that one out, and then hopefully that'll inspire you to, if you haven't checked out any of those, scroll back to the very beginning of this feed. This used to be the Music Arc, so they're up for right now. Eventually we'll retire those to our Patreon to make space, but for right now you can go listen to that whole early series. So yeah, I wanted to do a Music Arc episode here because we're trying to get back in the mode of actually providing some music-related content. On that note, I just recorded an episode earlier today with Mr. Sunshine Mayfield where we discussed some of our favorite albums of 2020 so far and had kind of a listening party. So I'm actually going to get back to editing that right now and try and have it up for you guys this weekend. One last thing I should note before we jump into this Flashback Friday, it does feature a band by the name of Brand New, which some of you are probably familiar with and you may have complicated feelings about. I myself do as well. I will just point out this episode was recorded in September of 2017, so you'll hear some references, but it is devoid of information that was later revealed, which may complicate how you feel about the band. I debated cutting that section out of the podcast. I figured it would be weirder to just have a missing slot on the top 10. So again, if you want to skip over that one, I totally understand. That is your prerogative, but I kept it in here. That's where we were when this one was recorded, just being honest with you guys. But without further ado, I do hope that you enjoy our top 10 favorite senior albums list, or 4th albums, if you will. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to the Music Arc on the Arc of E Network. My name is Noah.
And my name is Gavin.
And we're the Blanchard Brothers. This is it. Not the last episode, but the last of this particular run. We finally made it to senior year, if you will.
Smooth Michael Jackson reference, dude. This is it.
Yeah. That's exactly where I was going with that.
We know.
Okay. Anyways,
we know you're a Prince guy. It's okay.
By this point, you have heard debuts, sophomores, and junior albums. And now we're going to talk about our top 10 favorite 4th albums. I made this list in a tizzy about 5 minutes before recording. I thought about some of these, but I didn't know where everything was going to rank. Don't have a ton of honorable mentions, but we'll see if you do.
I got one.
Do you remember who started last time? We're going in full bore, man. Unless there's some music stuff you need to talk about beforehand.
No, we're inside of a month for Brand New almost.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Do you have a note for a future episode? Because definitely let us know what you think maybe our next arc of like 4 episodes should be. We've been kicking around some ideas, like if we want to go a decade and then break it down within that. But we are definitely going to do a dedicated episode to Wonderful Wonderful, the new Killers album.
Yes.
Which comes out on the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So that's either after, I don't know when you're hearing this, actually.
That'd be because you're going to release.
How we're going to roll this out.
You're gonna release juniors this Sunday, right?
Correct.
Okay, then we got one more Sunday in the month.
Right. So the album will be out by then.
Yeah. So like the first one of October can be the review for that.
Yes. So look forward to that. Or if you don't give a shit about the Killers, I guess you can skip that one. Yeah. But we're gonna do a full breakdown because I'm really excited about it. And yeah, that's really the only note for future episodes. Again, let us know if you have any ideas at thearkofe@gmail.com. Shout at us on Instagram at the Ark of E Network, on Twitter at the Ark of E, on Facebook, the Ark of E as well. We're all over the place, or you can comment on this post at thearkofe.com.
Speaking of the social media, you reminded me I have one point we need to point out. It is September 20th, and it is in fact our
Absolutely.
grandfather's 95th birthday.
Yes. New segment, Bud Corner. We had Dad Corner. We had Pawpaw Corner. Or Paw's Corner.
Why don't we
And
just
it's
call
still
it...
Veterans Corner, I
Dude,
think is what you came up with.
No, yeah, but we should totally call it Swirling with Merlin. Like
Swirling with Merlin. Yes. Merlin Bud Blanchard.
Merlin Burdett Blanchard.
Excuse me.
That's,
Yes, let me not mess that up.
As Dad always said, he told me, I said, what you know, people are going to start asking you about, you know, what do I call you? He's like, you go to school. Your teachers ask me what my name is. You tell them your dad's name is Bud Blanchard. And that was that. I didn't know probably till like maybe 5 years ago that his first name was indeed Merlin. And then that his middle name was Burdett. So that is dope. I don't know why more kids aren't named Merlin.
Yeah.
But found his
we should
census
bring it
records
back.
online.
Whoever has the firstborn. We should just...
Found his like 1940 census record online. He was 17.
God
like
damn.
got off the farm in Nebraska to go fight in the Navy, dude.
Did we say 95 years old
95
today,
years old.
the day we're recording this?
Yes.
So a very happy birthday to Mr. Merlin Burdett Blanchard. Yeah,
OG.
I didn't get that Bud came from Burdett even. I thought it was just a nickname. Man.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. Crazy.
Yeah.
Learning new things every day. But yeah, he's still kicking around there. Again, that's Veterans Corner. He was a Navy man himself. World War II.
I would love to know what his music tastes are.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Not so much. I know this is a music centric podcast.
I know he likes country and stuff. Like
Yeah.
probably in the Johnny Cash, like Waylon Jennings era,
Definitely.
Willie Nelson.
I mean, those guys were like he was
Somewhere in there.
as old as they were. Like you got to think about it. Like if
Very
those
true.
guys were all like still kicking, he would have been like their contemporaries. Obviously, Cash was what, Korean War, and of course Elvis and Glenn Miller both were World War II.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope.
Well, I don't know if any of our albums on our list will be anything that he would have listened to or has ever even heard of, but let's find out. You want to start? I don't know who started last episode.
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
All right.
You're number 10.
My number 10 comes from 2002. It is titled Lifted, or The Stories in the Soil. Keep your ear to the ground. Bright Eyes.
Missed this one. Definitely would be. I'll just basically make my honorable mentions list as we go.
Do that,
That
then.
would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
What do you got on there track wise? I believe my favorite, if it is in fact from that album, Bowl of Oranges. Is
Yes.
that on there? Yep. That would be my favorite from that record.
I like Waste of Paint, but I think the one everyone's going to go to.
Love I Don't Have to Love. Of
yes.
course.
I bet you out of a crowd and talked to you. Said I liked your shoes. You said thanks, can I follow you? So it's up the stairs and out of you, no prying eyes. I poured some wine. I asked your name, you asked the time.
The whole album is... I'm not going to say it's complete because the first two or three kind of lose me, but once Love I Don't Have to Love comes into Bowl of Oranges, it like fades in perfectly. The rain had started tapping or whatever like that, and then Waste of Paint and all that's like... what was the one? I can't remember what... Don't Know When But Day's Gonna Come. I like that one too.
Yeah, I love Bright Eyes just in general, but I really didn't latch on to them until Casadega, other album that you had that I just randomly grabbed one day and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this out.
Which
and
is
then
only because I had this and Digital Ash and a Digital Urn, and I was like, let me just let me see what the new ones are. We're burping and coughing over here. It's great. Thanks for staying with us, guys.
Yeah.
This has been Sick Corner.
Corner.
Sick Corner, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't remember who turned me on to Bright Eyes. I don't know if it was just in the ether or I heard it at a party somewhere or heard it with someone, but it definitely was just kind of like, this guy's different. It's not on this, but probably my favorite is his cover of Devil Town. I just love his version, the way he sings. Devil just probably my favorite from Conroe Burst. But yeah,
Pretty sweet. He's actually coming here
Really?
in October, I think, 21st, if I'm not mistaken, Performing Arts Center.
what if he comes a day
He
early?
won't play.
What if he just opens up for Brand New?
That would be kind of cool.
What if he sings with Brand New, dude? What if he just hangs in town? It's like,
Did you? Sorry, side note. Have we even talked about this?
No,
Did you hear about Kevin Devine?
no.
Kevin Devine is now a member of Brand New
Get the
for this tour. So he'll be there when we see them.
What?
He's playing with Brand New for this last tour.
That is awesome.
So I'm wondering if we might get an opening acoustic set, because the only opener they have listed, I don't know if you also saw this, Not a Surf is going to open for them.
Dude,
So
did we not just luck out?
yeah,
That's
exactly. So I'm really hoping Kevin comes out, plays for a little bit, then Not a Surf, then Brand New with Kevin Devine playing with them.
And then a
But yeah,
jam
go
sesh.
read his Facebook post. Like it'll make you tear up a little bit. 'Cause it's just like they've been so intertwined for years, and they essentially grew up together. And it's like it's their last, ostensibly their last tour. Like this is gonna be it. So I like that he's like going out there with them, but he's gonna be in the band, like playing all this stuff. Like
Yeah,
I
I mean,
cannot wait, dude. I was already ecstatic that we have tickets and we're actually gonna get to see them, but throw that in there. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
I mean, and he's perfect in his own right. Like I'm pretty sure there's people out there like, oh, he's not as big as Brand New.
No,
so.
Kevin Devine,
but he is like amazing.
could be honorable mentions on pretty much all of these lists so
Yes.
far. Like, there's not one like standout for me,
Yeah.
but I love him just in general. There's always like 5-6 tracks off of everyone that I'm just absolutely like blow me away. Yeah. So
Dope.
that was Bright Eyes as your number 10.
Bright Eyes is number 10.
My number 10 from this year.
Whoa.
This is the newest album that's been on the list so far, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's my number 2 favorite album of the year, second only to Science Fiction by Brand New. It's Damn by Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you've actually sat down with it. I've been trying to get him on a list. Overall, I do like Good Kid, Mad City better. I think that's his best album. But when we're looking at seniors, and this is like, I feel like, again, his name's been in the ether, and like he's been hugely popular for several years, but to all of a sudden drop this, which felt like a game changer for a lot of people, where they were just like, holy shit, every single track on this album is amazing. All of the videos from it so far, absolutely incredible. And this is, while I had heard some stuff prior to this is the first time I was like, this feels top to bottom like a fully cohesive album, like completely thought through. Just top to bottom, it's fantastic. But if I have to pick I'm just going to shout out my favorite flat out. But DNA, the opener, fantastic. Well, Blood's technically the opener, but DNA is fantastic. Yeah, Loyalty, Humble, all the big singles. But my favorite song off the album, and my favorite song of 2017, and I don't really see this changing, is Triple X featuring U2.
Johnny don't wanna go to school no more, no more. Johnny said books ain't cool no more. Johnny wanna be a rapper like his big cousin. Johnny caught a body yesterday out hustling. God bless America, you know we all love him.
Yesterday I got a call like from my dog like 101. Said they killed his only son because of insufficient funds. He was sobbing, he was mobbing, way belligerent and drunk. Talking out his head, philosophing on what the Lord had done. He said, kid, can you pray for me? It been a fucked up day for me. I know that you anointed, show me how to overcome. He was looking for some closure, hoping I can bring him closer to the spiritual. My spirit do know better, but I told him I can't sugarcoat the answer for you. This is how I feel. If somebody killed my son, that means somebody getting killed. Tell me what you do for love, loyalty and passion of all the memories collected, moments you can never touch.
If you had told me that my favorite song...
Wait, are you talking U2 to me?
Yeah, I'm talking U2 to you. If you had told me that my favorite song of 2017 was going to be by Kendrick Lamar featuring U2, I just, who'd have thunk it?
It's not a place. This country is to me a sound of drum and bass. You close your eyes to look around.
But
Does
Triple
Loyalty
X
have
is
Rihanna
my
on it?
favorite. Yes.
Okay, then all right, yeah, because I asked the girl at the gas station, I was like, what is this? And she was like, it's Kendrick Lamar with Rihanna, Loyalty. And I was like, I thought that was him. This is kind of neat. and I paid for my water and I
It's
left.
fantastic. Great story, man. Great
It's
story.
great. Highlight of my night.
I know you've said, you haven't really like delved that deep into him. I think this is a good place to start and then
Okay.
kind of backtrack. But it's got a lot of different vibes on it, and again, his delivery, his lyricism, just everything, top notch. He's a fantastic performer, artist.
I definitely enjoy him on anything I've ever heard him on. Maybe they are his songs and I just don't know it because it's on the radio. But like most of the stuff he's like been featured on. He's on the Weeknd's last album a good bit. Well, not with one or two songs, but I enjoy him. He brings a different level to a song, to every song he's on. It's just like, okay, that's him. Same thing with the Weeknd. I love anything that he does. Anything he guests on, anything he does. So I will definitely check Damn out as soon as I get a chance.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Get on it. You're number 9, sir.
My number 9 might make you laugh a little bit, but you just got to remember, it's my list, okay?
Yep. I will
19
remind you, this is the gentleman who put Vanilla Ice on a top 10 list. I just ragged on you about this with what I just recorded with Matt.
Oh, that's great.
So look forward to hearing that.
Oh, great.
You're never going to live it down, man.
I'm not.
But you can give me shit about not putting the Dead Zone on my list.
I heard you
like
talking
he
about
did.
Dead Zone while I was sitting out there waiting. I felt like I was waiting for a weird job interview. Like you were already talking to one one candidate, and I 'Candidate, and I was like, God, I hope he likes me.
You're in the
So,
green room, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you're in Studio B, I guess.
Pretty much. 1999, a little album called Enrique from Enrique Iglesias.
I'm not going to laugh at you, dude.
Come on. It's his first English album, but it's his fourth studio album.
I hesitate to even say guilty pleasure, like we have to justify it. I fucking love that album, dude.
Rhythm Divine, his cover of Sad Eyes.
Yeah, Springsteen cover.
Bailamos. What else is on that one?
You picked it.
Be With You. That's the other one.
Is Be With You on there, or is that on the...
No, it's on that one.
This is his 4th album?
Yeah, it's his first one in English, but it's his 4th one total. So that's why I counted
Okay.
put it on the list. I have a few of those that like I gotta argue they're 4th, but technically it is his 4th.
If Be With You is on there, that's my shit.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I'm playing right now.
Yeah,
if
do
that's on there.
Monday night, and I feel so low.
Or you can just sing it.
Count
Jesus
the
Christ.
hours, it goes so slow.
Monday night, and I feel so low. I count the hours, but they go so slow. I know the sound of your voice can save my soul. City lights and streets of gold. Look out my window to the world below. Move so fast, but it feels so cold, and I'm all alone. Don't make me die, I'm losing my mind. Baby, just give me a sign. And now that you're gone, I just wanna be with you. And I can't go on. I wanna be with you. Wanna be with you.
Because
The
How is it
vocal
that, like-
stylings of Enrique Blanchard.
How is it that like I love Springsteen covers more than I love the originals?
I don't know what's wrong. I mean, I always make the case for Atlantic City by the band. Like, that's the definitive version of that song. But in most cases, I like the originals when it comes to Springsteen.
There was an episode of Nip Tuck where they used "I'm on Fire," but it was the Ting Tings, I think, saying, or maybe it wasn't Nip Tuck. I don't remember what TV show it was, but they used a cover of "I'm on Fire," and I just the pacing of it with the girls singing was like, whoa. And I mean, I like the original of that too, but I don't know, like his version of Sad Eyes. That's
It's pretty dope.
my shit, man. I love it.
Nice pull, man.
Yeah.
No, it didn't occur to me, but I'm not gonna laugh at you on that one.
Okay,
I'm
good.
really not. People on the other end of this are probably laughing pretty hard, or
they're
tuning
like,
out
yeah.
in droves, as we like to say.
Or they're like, you know what? Me too.
Yeah, and we just earned like a fan for life because they're like, hey, you speak to me.
Definitely.
My number 9. This would have been a perfect segue if we were going in alternate order or something like that, but it is brand new. 2009's Daisy.
Daisy.
Yeah. I put this here because I do love this record, start to finish, but the way that it fits in with their discography, coming off of Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me, which, again, to reiterate, my favorite Junior album of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And also my favorite album of all time, flat out. So had a lot to live up to. And I remember when you like throw this on and you get this old, I think is it Edith Piaf singing?
I think so.
And it bleeds into Vices, which is one of the heaviest, most assaulting tracks they've ever done. I remember being like, okay, what are we in for? Like, this feels like it took all of the darker, heavy instincts of Devil and God and like went completely in that direction.
Yeah.
And it definitely, like, it is a dark, dark album, but I absolutely love it. I mean, I think you got some standout, just production elements and everything are on fire. All of the, musicality is amazing, as usual, as expected, but just a few favorites. Sink, Bought a Bride, I think there's like Kill It, Gasoline's amazing. I mean, I could go on and on. You Stole, kind of the centerpiece track, is amazing. Be Gone, the weird, like, sounds kind of like it should have been in True Detective Season 1, like distorted vocal.
That is dope.
So great. But my favorite track is the title track, Daisy.
And we sing this morning that wonderful and grand old message. I don't know about you, but I never get tired of it. Number 99, Just As I Am.
I'm a mountain that has been moved. I'm a river that is all dry up. I'm an ocean nothing floats on. I'm a sky that nothing wants to fly in. I'm a sun that doesn't burn hot. I'm a moon that never shows its face. I'm a mouth that doesn't smile. I'm a word that no one ever wants to say.
Which, of course, is echoed on science fiction, which we talked about on a full episode, our very first episode of the podcast you're listening to right now. But yeah, I love it. I love Brand New. They're my second favorite band of all time. Had to get them on the list once again because I only had one so far. So they're one of those bands. They deserve 2 slots.
Definitely. I mean, they could deserve the whole list as far as I'm concerned. Like, if we went on to, like, freshman in college and, like, doctorate, post-bachelor, whatever you want to call it.
But that's my number 9, Daisy by Brand New. So your number 8, sir.
My number 8 comes from 2006. A little album called King by T.I. Harris.
Okay.
Or T.I., as most people probably know him. You were probably going to know Why You Wanna. Top Back. It's slowly edged. It's edged out by the one everyone knows, but my second favorite is Stand Up Guy. But what you know. I mean, that is like that's classic T.I.
What you know about that? What you know about that? What you know about that? Hey, don't you know I got a key by the 3 when I church out the church band, do it down sad when I'm holding all the work. Yeah, what you know about that? What you know about that? What you know about that? Hey, I know all about that. Loaded po-po on the low where the cheese at. Fresh out the jet to the jets where the cheese at. What you know about that? What you know about that? Hey, what you know about that? Hey, I know all about that.
Like, I know people talk about, like, Bring 'Em Out and, like, stuff from I'm Serious and all that, but, like, to me, this is where I found T.I.
I was gonna say, I feel like this happens with so many. I always flash to Outkast winning the Grammy for Stankonia,
Yeah.
and Andre 3000 like pointing out, this is not our first album. Like, we've been here a long time, but all of a sudden it's like everybody just discovers you off of one album. I feel like for some reason that seems to happen in the rap world more than anything else. Maybe not as much these days, like just because just the way social media and stuff travels. But
Well,
it's like I feel like it takes a little while for
out
stuff
now.
to catch on. Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember there's you were talking about Kendrick Lamar, and I remember, I think it might have been Preach Jacobs. He's a an artist himself out of Columbia. He had Sounds Familiar record label, and then he had the Sounds Familiar store a while back. But he came in during, we were doing a history of sound, like a sound class in film and media studies in college, and he came in and just kind of talked about like the history of stuff and like how he, you know, record labels will pay money to radio stations to get heavy airplay with stuff, and he mentioned how, like, you know, uh, people will trade music now. It used to be a big thing back then, but now it's just people just put stuff out there. And but a couple, maybe back, I don't know, right as Kendrick Lamar's last one was coming out, or right before, he posted a tweet of how, like, Chance the Rapper was like, you know, oh, gonna go listen to Kendrick's new album, you know, whatever. Hope he like, you know, hope he likes what I do, or whatever. When he was Chance the Rapper just kind of come out, and it was like showing you, like, back then it was like Chance wasn't really a big deal, and he was kind of showing love to Kendrick Lamar. Next thing you know, like, they're both kind of blowing up at the same time with the same kind of feeling vibe. But I mean, and that's probably another reason why I haven't really gotten into Kendrick Lamar, because I really dig Chance the Rapper. But
Yeah.
you know,
Which you've mentioned before, and again, it's not an either or. You can
I know
you
I can like
listen
both,
to
but like I
others.
get so wrapped up in like when I like something, I get so wrapped up in that that I don't like. And then of course I get wrapped up in it. I'm like, well, don't pigeonhole me, dude. I can like anything. But I'm like, well, you're I know I'm like, I'm into this one thing a lot, so I can totally get if somebody pigeonholes me for one thing and not like
I've
another.
talked to you a lot about it off mic and a little bit on mic, but the four like core albums or four core artists for the first part of this year for me, I was listening to nothing but Run the Jewels, Tribe Called Quest, Frank Ocean, and Kendrick Lamar, and that was just like all of it, and they were all kind of like a slightly different perspective, but all kind of like unified by they do have some element of like social commentary or quote unquote realness to them. Like they're not. I've never been a fan of the quote unquote bitches and hoes type of rap. It's just
Yeah.
not like, or just party rap in general. Like there's got to be like another element to it to kind of draw me in.
Oh yeah.
And with all of those artists that I mentioned, there's just such a unique perspective and originality, and I just those like killed it for me for the first part of the year.
Well, that's what drew me.
all I've been
Like
listening to.
when obviously I think ATL had come out, or was coming out around then, but like this album, yeah, there is that element on a few of them, but the swagger and then the bravado in which Ti delivers everything on this album, because he did the whole Ti versus Tip, like they're two different people.
Right.
On the next one, like a kind of neat split personality concept, but just the delivery on everything with this, it was kind of like, yeah, I do have this background. I have been to jail for dealing drugs and doing this, but like this is me. This is how I come to things. This is my swagger. I noticed I said swagger and not swag, because I don't like when people say swag. But like that's, I don't know, something about that. I maybe it's because I found this right as I was like getting out of high school, going into college, trying to figure out what kind of college guy I was going to be, because I wasn't funny, still not funny, but like I definitely became more funny in college.
Pointing to me,
So,
brother.
You know. Anyway, but yeah, number 8, Ti King from 2006.
Alrighty.
Your
And
number
my
8.
number 8, another two-timer, appeared on my last list. It's Radiohead with Kid A. And I will shout out one of my favorite opening tracks to any album. Everything in Its Right Place opens the album. How to Disappear Entirely is fantastic. The National Anthem, Idiotech. I mean, I could go on. This is one of those, I mean, I had OK Computer on my list, and it's kind of this constant debate of like, which is the better album. And I don't think you have to decide necessarily. We can just all agree that they are one of those bands that are capable of multiple masterpieces, and I would argue that they've delivered about 4 at this point. So it's notorious. If you were looking up any list of greatest fourth
Oh, yeah,
albums,
they were
it's
on there.
gonna be in the top 10. I know it's a little bit cliched, but it's up there for a reason. It's a fantastic record. Again, I came to them through In Rainbows, and it was like, yeah, I've always heard of Radiohead, and I knew like a few songs, but until you go back and like sit with them and listen to them in their entirety, and preferably either on the road at like a really high volume with good speakers, or just like chilling by yourself with headphones, but they're some of the most like well produced, just everything about these albums. Go fucking listen to Radiohead, as if I need to tell people that. But yeah, Kid A, that's my number 8. Your number 7.
Well, what if I were to tell you, if I were just to say, let the Midnight Special
Shine a light on me.
let the Midnight Special
Shine. You're.
let the Midnight Special shine a light on me. Let the Midnight Special shine a ever-loving light on me. Yonder come Miss Rosie,
We don't have to do the whole thing.
piece of paper in her hand. Okay, yeah, okay.
yeah, dude,
so Willie and the
CCR,
Poor,
this is-
Willie and the Poor Boys, 1969.
Definitely.
Creedence,
Definitely
Clearwater
on my honorable
Revival.
mentions. Remind me what is on this thing, because Midnight Special, top 3 for Credence.
Well, you wake up in the morning, you hear the work bell ring, and I march you to the table. You see the same old thing. Ain't no food upon the table. There's no fork up in the pan. But you better not complain, boy. You get in trouble with the man. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me.
All time.
Down on the Corner, Fortunate Son, and
Jesus
this.
Christ, how did I miss this one? I really should have looked at the track listing.
Yeah.
Because, damn, this needs to be on my list.
Yeah.
Okay, but can't change it, as we've learned repeatedly. Vanilla Ice.
What was it? Yeah, no, this is, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it the quintessential Creedence, but like if you just had
sounds
to-
like it is.
It is. I mean, like Fortunate Son obviously has become a huge, it's everywhere still. But yeah, Willie and the Poor Boys, 1969, which of course every other one was in Bayou Country. The, Creedence Clearwater Revival came out in 68, but the rest of like all of them were, 69. And I mean, the first one really didn't have that many on it. I Put a Spell on You and Susie Q, and Bayou Country. I don't even remember that one at all. And then Green River's got Bad Moon Rising, Lodi, and that's about it. So like, yeah, Willie and the
it's
Poor Boys
stacked.
is definitely, that's it. And of course,
I messed up.
if you don't
I messed
know
up
the
real bad.
story, essentially Fogerty, has been writing all these songs. He has been killing it. He's the songwriter, the master, the man. And finally, for the last album, the boys are like, "Hey, we want to take over some songwriting duties too." And he's like, "No." And they were like, "We want to." And he said, "Fine, go ahead." And it was the worst album that they ever put out. Like they were done after that. And famously, after he basically said, "All right, I'm done. I'm leaving Fantasy Records," he basically turned over the rights to everything. So, I don't know how many years later, let's just say a couple, he starts performing solo. And what does Fantasy do? No, sir, you can't play those songs. We're going to sue you for copyright.
Right.
And so basically...
But I'm John Fogerty.
Yeah. Well, you know what? John Fogerty, you sound too much like Creedence Clearwater Revival. We're going to take you to court.
P.S. Nobody else sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally nobody else on the
but he
planet
got accused of
sounds like me.
plagiarizing and sounding too much like Creedence when he had actually written and performed vocals on pretty much every Creedence song. But they are probably more than Tom Petty. They are what you think of as like quintessential American band.
for
And
sure.
let's just be clear. These guys are from California. They may make you feel like they're from the backwoods of Mississippi or Alabama or something, but no, they're all from California. So don't get it twisted.
I'm going to talk about somebody now for my number 7.
Okay.
Who's definitely not from California.
Okay.
May not have even been from this planet.
Mr. David Bowie.
Good call. Is this on your list?
No, but I saw it on a few
Do the
lists.
rest of the cast in that voice. Yeah, it's Hunky Dory from 1971. I could put tons of Bowie albums on here, but we're not going to get to a lot of the ones that I would want to put on here.
We wouldn't
But
even make it to Ziggy
It
Stardust.
does have 3 of my favorites. You've got Changes, which
Yes.
everybody knows, of course. But my 2 other favorites off of it, Life on Mars, fantastic song. I think recently repopularized by American Horror Story a little bit,
yeah.
for like another generation, but go listen to the original. And last but not least, Queen Bitch, one of my all-time favorite Bowie songs, and it's fantastic.
Oh yeah. I'm up on the 11th floor and I'm watching the cruisers below. He's down on the street and he's trying hard to boost the flow. Oh, my heart's in the basement. My weekend's at an all-time low. Cause she's hoping to score, so I can't see her letting him go. Walk out of her heart, walk out of her mind. Oh, not her. She's so swishy in her satin and tan. In her frock coat and bibbity bobbity hat. Oh God, I could do better than that.
That's
There's
really
nothing-
all I want to say about it. Go listen to Hunky Dory. Go listen to all of Bowie's stuff.
Berlin, Ziggy Stardust. Suffragette
Go listen to
City.
Black Star. That album's fantastic.
Go listen to all his stuff, then go watch Velvet Goldmine,
Yeah.
which is
Or-
basic. Yeah. I love Velvet
I was gonna
Goldmine.
say go watch The Man Who Fell to Earth.
That
Like
too,
go watch him
yeah.
act in something, or go watch
Go
Labyrinth
watch
if
that
you
one
want to.
scene from Zoolander.
Go watch all of his scenes as Tesla from The Prestige.
Go watch him as Special Agent Jeffries from Twin Peaks.
Philip Jeffries.
Philip Jeffries.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Philip Jeffries, who may not even really exist anymore. Dude, I fucking love David Lynch
Yeah.
so much. I cannot wait. We got to talk about it, man.
We got to get it started.
Comes out on Blu-ray in December.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to do like a extended rewatch.
Or we just start the TV arc in December, dude.
Yeah.
Been talking about it all year. Might as well start at the very last month.
Yeah. When there's like, I guess shows will be in the middle of airing, but like nothing new starts in December.
No,
Everything's
they
always
all-
airing, and then it goes on hiatus like during the Christmas
Yeah.
break. So
For
we'll
whatever
figure all
reason.
that out off mic. Back to the list. Yeah, number 7, Hunky Dory for me, 1971, David Bowie. Go listen to it. Your number 6, sir.
My number 6 is a bit of a pickle. You don't really know. I don't really know where you want to chart it. If I was gonna go ahead and say when it was recorded, technically it was recorded in 1978. If I want to go when it was released, I'm gonna go ahead and say it was released in 1996. It is Static Age by the Misfits. Okay.
Okay.
So the Misfits released. They basically, the story goes that Danzig had the rights to a certain name or something, and in order to get for this company to get it, they offered him studio time. So he goes in with the original lineup of the Misfits in '78. They record a ton of stuff. All right, but that stuff never got to put out a full album for Static Age. Instead, they released them on EPs, different demos. It was really bare bones. So after he leaves the band, and he technically still has the rights to all these songs, he goes ahead and like masters the guitar and like kind of brings it up. And then of course, it's the one that I have, the big coffin box of all of their stuff.
Yeah.
It gets released in 1996 for the first time fully as Static Age, and I'm just going to read you some of the tracks on it real quick. Let's see. TV Casualty, Last Caress, Return of the Fly, Hybrid Moments, We Are 138, Teenagers from Mars, Hollywood Babylon, Attitude, She, and what's another good one? Some Kind of Hate. And of course, Static Age starts it off.
Hybrid Moments and Attitude. Those would be my neck and neck for favorite Misfits songs.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's really Where Eagles Dare, Hybrid Moments.
Last Caress.
No, it's not Last Caress. What is it? Astro Zombies.
Oh shit, yeah.
Those are
Astro
my
Zombies is really good.
But and if you get the collection box like that, you can I put them all on my computer, so like
There's so many different cuts.
That's the
and
thing.
stuff, yeah.
Like you would have heard a lot of these in the 70s. They weren't as polished. So like technically in the 90s, Danzig's not the lead singer. It's Greaves, whatever his name is. And so it's kind of like, you have him singing some of the songs that you would know, like American Psycho, nothing to do with Danzig.
Mhm.
But, these classic ones from the 70s when they get re-released in 96 kind of spurs like a new kind of interest in them and stuff. And I don't know, they're one of like, I don't know, if you're into punk, if you're into any kind of rock, the Misfits. If you really aren't into that kind of scene, they kind of seem maybe like a gimmicky thing to you, like a horror rock, horror pop kind of thing. Kind of maybe almost on the verge of like psychobilly or like rockabilly horror or whatever, but I love them. The aesthetics awesome.
right
I'd love
there
to
with
see
you.
them live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Danzig live, not really
Which-
like the Misfits as they exist now.
Well, like apparently he was on tour with them recently. They all reunited like
Oh,
last
okay.
year or two because they talked to Jerry Only about it.
I've
at some
seen
point.
him recently.
Maybe it wasn't Jerry Only. I don't know.
He's popped up on Portlandia a couple times recently, and so yeah, Danzig's been back on the brain.
Yeah.
Great solo work. as
Mother.
well. Yeah, man, love that song. Very nice pull.
Yeah.
Also one that would be on my honorable mentions list. My number 6. This is gonna sound familiar, considering some of the other stuff you've heard, but like I don't have Weatherbox on here
Oh, thank God.
because they don't have a fourth album.
Oh, okay.
I don't have Modest Mouse on here because I love Good News, but like when you stack it up to some of their other stuff, like it's down there. But one of their contemporaries, Built to Spill, I don't know if you listened to it all, had a little record called Keep It Like a Secret in 1999. Fantastic album. Opens with The Plan. Great song. Probably the biggest single you might know off of this. Center of the Universe. But I hesitate to say my favorite Built to Spill song of all time, but it's right up there. Carry the Zero.
I'm not knocking your want to carry that home. Took it with you when you moved and got it broke. Found the pieces, we counted them all alone. Didn't add up, forgot to carry a zero.
Fantastic album. Great, indie rock, Northwest feel vibe. Has shades of Modest Mouse in it, but Doug Marsh, the lead singer, very different vocals, like, unique unto himself. Absolutely love these guys. Again, great driving music. I don't know what it is about bands from up there, man, but they just they make stuff you want to throw on and just like go drive through the trees or drive on a highway and
It's because they're not as connected. They're just like down here in the South, they have to drive. It's not like, the big city or anything like that.
Yeah. But that's my number 6.
Okay.
From Built to Spill, keep it like a secret.
All right. So number 5 is probably going to be the most arguing I'm going to have to do to this. But number 5 is
Vanilla Ice. Oh, sorry.
the second album, the rock version. Number 5 is going to be 2002's Songs About Jane from Maroon 5. I know that is their first album as Maroon 5, but the core of this band has 3 other albums on the list as Kara's Flowers. So
Okay.
I'm arguing that even though it's their first debut as Maroon 5, they have been together for 4 albums and they just changed their name. I don't mind if you change your name if the sound's the same. So
Okay.
it's probably a different sound too. Like the album covers of the other 3 were really weird. So this is probably like they found that groove and like we can do this. But yeah, Songs About Jane. Can I say? I mean, every Maroon 5 song you can never think of is on that album. She Will Be
Yeah,
Loved.
but I
This
almost
Love,
feel like
Shiver.
I almost feel like the output post this album has like completely overshadowed it, where you don't hear these on the radio like
Oh, no,
at
no,
all
not at all.
anymore.
And then them
And they haven't
infusing
held
with,
up in the way of like there's stuff from this era that you still hear continuously. I feel like it's probably because they are still putting out like
Yeah,
hits
and
that you don't hear people dipping back into it.
they're recording with, Wiz Khalifa on payphone, and they've got just different people they're working with. And I mean, honestly, there's a few on other ones. There is some song, I cannot think of the name of it, but I swear to God, at the end of it, whoever is playing, they go like they throw in the riff of Purple Rain in a song of theirs. I swear I've heard it. And I'm not thinking of the time Adam Levine played it.
Yeah, no, he's a huge Prince fan. I mean,
Yeah, but it's
clear
like
influence.
slowly. It's like as the song is tailing off. I thought it was "And She Will Be Loved" or something, but I swear in the tail end of it, for like the last 15 seconds, you hear somebody playing the last little bit of Purple Rain as it's fading out, and I'm like, okay, where have I heard this before? And I'm like, oh shit, it's Purple Rain. But yeah, Shiver. I think This Love is probably my favorite off of that one. Everybody knows Harder to Breathe. She Will Be Loved, This Love, Shiver. Is Won't Go Home Without You on here? I don't think so. I think it's on a different one. But yeah. I feel like this and The Killers came out at the same time. And they were just like, they were neck and neck. Or maybe not. This is 2002.
Very different vibes. But yeah, I like Maroon 5 pretty solid. Don't ever say that around Veronica.
Why?
She hates Maroon 5.
Really?
She just doesn't like Adam Levine for some reason. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I get it.
I like this kind of like more dancey kick they're on. Like it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me at this point, but just a lot of the like more recent output.
Yeah,
But like Sugar, I guess, is like the most recent big single.
yeah.
Love that song, dude. It's catchy as hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's them backing him up or him as a frontman, but I think they could do any style of music, and I think it would be entertaining. I mean, they could do like total Vegas showroom act. They could do jazz. They could do like a weird rockabilly thing. They could do anything, and it's
Very versatile, and I don't give them enough credit for it because I honestly haven't sat and like listened to a Maroon 5 album like start to finish. I know the big radio singles.
Yeah,
and
and they're
that's
just
it.
there. I mean, it's like if they stop showing up, you'd be like, whatever happened to them? But they're so there. And I mean, him being on The Voice and all this different stuff, it's kind of one of those like they've just always kind of been there. And when they do decide to hang it up, you're like, huh, okay.
Well, I'm sure people are gonna fight you that it's a debut, but you can yell at us in the
Yeah.
chat, wherever.
That's cool.
You know, give us a bad review on iTunes. Just give us a star rating.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's all that matters. My number 5
Yes.
is from 2003. Been trying to get him on a list for a little bit. Definitely could have, honorable mentions for any of the other lists. Definitely. But this is the one that got me into him, and probably the most well-known for a little while. The White Stripes, Elephant.
What?
From 2003,
I
which
forgot
opens
about this.
with the most well-known song by them
Of
at this
course,
point,
dude.
Seven Nation Army, which leads you right into...
a staple at every college football stadium.
Yes,
for some reason.
it's so weird that all of a sudden became,
Yeah.
it's everywhere for college sports. You got Black Math on there as well, In the Cold, Cold Night, I Just Don't Know What to Do with Myself, And my favorite on the entire thing, and one of just like, it's just so like groovy and jammy, Ball and Biscuit.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's quite possible that I'm your third man, girl. But it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. Doubt about it. It's quite possible that I'm your third man, girl. But it's a fact that I'm the seventh son. And right now you could care less about me. But soon enough you will care by the time I'm done.
But yeah, really kind of, I won't say their breakout record. I mean, from their second record forward, it was like people were aware. And this definitely just kind of like sent them into the stratosphere, if anything. I mean, from the visual aesthetic, the whole just dynamic of just the two of them, and the idea that you could generate that kind of sound from two people.
Just that much sound with just the two of them is ridiculous.
So, huge fan of theirs. There's definitely other, I mean, I would love some more of the output, but I kind of feel like at a certain point, maybe Elephant is the definitive White Stripes album. Even though I really dig Icky Thump, and White Blood Cells is pretty awesome as well. And Day Still. But yeah, we'll keep it moving right along, brother. Your number 4.
My number 4 comes from the year 2013.
Why are you doing that voice?
I don't know, because I'm scrolling to make sure I got the tracks right. I mean, you know, I don't want to mess anything up, especially with, you know, all the responses we get from people who listen. But it is Random Access Memories by Daft Punk.
Okay.
You're probably going to know Get Lucky. You Lose Yourself to Dance.
This was like a huge one, right?
Instant
like one
Crush.
album of the year.
Oh, yeah, dude,
all
this
that
won the
sort of stuff.
Grammy. This one, like, the record of the year. This was like, dude, this was it. Like, this was everywhere. It was everywhere. I don't know if it was the Pharrell Williams of it all, because it seems like anything that man touches turns to gold. But yeah, and then of course not right up to this, but of course they come back again, even bigger with The Weeknd on Starboy. That's their most recent, I guess. I don't want to call that a Weeknd or Daft Punk album. I think it's, I don't know. To me, I don't know. It's just, I think there's a caveat, which
Is this not, in fact, their 4th record?
it is, no, but somebody was telling me the album itself, but I think the album went like number 1, but I don't think they ever had like a number 1 hit single off this one.
Right.
Maybe they did.
I was
because-
going to say Get Lucky is the only thing I know off of it. And I'm
Yeah.
ashamed to say I don't think I ever sat down and listened to it, even though there was like enormous hype all over this
Yeah,
album.
and I've got it, and it's dope. I have it in it's somewhere around here.
Well, do you have a particular other favorite or one you want to shout out?
I just like the stuff. There's a bit where they talk like, my name is Giorgio Giovanni, and I invented a synthesizer, and he like some guy just talking about like synthetic music and like being a DJ at the disco in the 70s and stuff. But I couldn't think. Lose Yourself and Dance is good.
I know you don't get a chance to take a break this often. I know your life is speeding and it isn't stopping. Here, take my shirt and just go ahead and wipe up all
Lose yourself to dance. Lose yourself to dance.
It's just, I don't know. And that's another one with Pharrell, but like, I don't need them to be having people featured. Just them, just the music they create is better. It's 10 times better than anything I can ever think of. Like, I know there's Survive and there's a couple other big like not dance, but like electronic synth based stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just get, they get kind of overlooked sometimes, but I don't really know if they.
I mean, I feel like critically, definitely not, but maybe like general public, I feel like they probably know songs by Daft Punk. They just don't know that they know songs.
That's
by
what
Daft
it is.
Punk.
Okay, so on the Billboard Hot 100 charts,
Okay.
this Get Lucky got to 2, but when
Never it reached number 1.
never reached number. Now it came to number 1 on like dance and dance mix
never
airplay
on
and,
the main
and hot
chart.
dance.
Okay.
But when they team with him for Starboy comes out. They get their what? Don't misquote me. I read it off the internet. Daft Punk and Starboy is their Daft Punk's first time as a number 1 hit single on the Billboard Hot 100 charts.
All right.
I don't know how you can say that having already won a Grammy for the last album you put out, but that just shows you how the music business works.
It's a strange,
Fickle
fucked up place.
bitch.
Yep.
All right, you're number 4.
Can you? It was too easy and too precious. Like I had to do it. My number 4 is Led Zeppelin 4 from 1971.
Please tell me Cashmere's on there.
No, Cashmere's
Shit.
not on there.
Whoops. I mean,
Damn it. But what
and
is
she's
on there?
buying the stairway.
Yes, their
to
most
heaven.
famous song, one of the greatest songs ever written.
It's like
but
14 minutes long,
I'm
right?
just gonna run you through this real quick. Opens with Black Dog, into Rock and Roll, then the Battle of Evermore, into Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain Hop after that. Four Sticks, Going to California, and it closes with When the Levee Breaks. That is a perfect album.
Then why is it not number 1?
Because I love it and it's amazing, but if I'm being totally honest with myself and with all the listeners, I love Led Zeppelin. I respect everything about them. They've never been that be-all, end-all band for me.
Yeah, no, totally.
I've always more appreciated them from a distance, and yes, they're mind-bending. Jimmy Page is otherworldly. He's not from this planet. And Robert Plant's incredible. Everything about them is amazing, and I could have put any of the first 3 on my previous list as well, but this one felt like the most appropriate. I mean, everybody knows Stairway, but just when you look, this is one of those when you look back at it, and specifically the way the tracks are arranged, it's like there is never a dull moment in this entire runtime.
My theory on those bands, your Led Zeppelins, your Pink Floyds, your Doors, your Rushes, is if you are under the age...
I was following your train of thought until the last 2. I don't really see how they connect with the first 2.
No,
Go ahead.
okay. My theory with that is somebody my age, 30, they can't tell you shit about Led Zeppelin. You are how old now? 26, 27?
I'm 26.
You're going to be 27 soon.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
Yeah, okay. You can't tell me shit about Led Zeppelin. Now, somebody like mom or dad who were living when this came out and lived
Right.
with this thing, they can tell me something about Led Zeppelin. That's why, I like Led Zeppelin. They don't follow that. They didn't hit me the way that
this is
another
more
band did.
again, like I said, from a removed perspective of just how can you not have that on a list of 4th albums? If you look pretty much anywhere online, if you were to Google best 4th albums, this is everybody's number 1.
Yeah.
And it felt wrong not to have it on there because it is incredible, and I love it. I would say, not being a diehard, I'm sure if I talk to Barham, who knows all the deep cuts and everything, he's probably going to tell me oh no, 3 is where it's at, 3 is the best one, or something I don't know. People
Yeah.
have different opinions, but I wanted it here, and again, 4 just felt right, man. I mean, it's their 4th album. It's 4th on the list. It's our 4th episode.
It's very kitschy,
It had
very
to
clever.
be there. 444.
Very clever.
You're number 3, brother.
My number 3 comes from 2008, and it is Only by the Night, Kings of Leon.
Okay. My least favorite Kings of Leon record, so you go right ahead and tell me why you like it.
Oh, dude, you open with Closer. And it's coming closer. And that's a terrible fucking... I can't do that voice. That voice. It's his voice, dude. Come on. Sex on Fire.
Yeah, his voice
Revelry.
is amazing and put to much better use on Because of the Times, on Mechanical Bull.
No, Mechanical
on-
Bull is my
I
favorite
mean,
album of theirs thus far. Okay?
I'm still on the Because of the Times tip, but Come Around Sundown and Mechanical Bull way stronger than Only by the Night. I know we're not going to get to those physically. I'm just saying.
I actually had a list of like fifths I want to shout out at the end, so remind me to throw those on there, since we won't get to them.
I mean, okay. I loved this record when it came out, but it's one of those, it did get ridiculously overplayed. Use Somebody is my least favorite song
I don't like it.
they've ever done, period, and it is the one that you hear still to this day, constantly, on rock radio. And yeah, it's like you pointed out some of the earlier ones. Let me pull this up myself, because I do have songs that really do stand out for me on this one. But overall, I think there's other ones that are more cohesive and have
Closer,
just stronger track listings
Crawl,
in general.
Sex on Fire, Revelry, Notion, Be Somebody.
I'm going to go Manhattan.
I like to dance all night. Summer's a day, but that's how I play. Yeah, that's how I play. I said, who are you? No matter who you are. So you dance all night and dance all day. I
And I do love I Want You and Cold Desert as the closer. They always have good closers.
Yeah,
Across the board.
My favorite song they've ever put out, Tonight, Mechanical Bull.
Okay.
Because he talks about when I see the lights on Broadway, I know it's going to be a long night. Like he knows if he's going downtown Broadway to drink in Nashville, it's going to be a long night. Just that whole album, Temple, Tonight, Family Tree. It's just Work on Me. Love that song. Like these would be the two. Obviously, Mechanical Bull, I'm going to throw up there as my number one, but we're not going to get to it. That they put out. I haven't listened to the most recent one, but
Yeah, Walls, I haven't listened to it either.
if we're looking at fours, I had to throw this on there because I
No,
loved
I
it
mean,
when it came out, especially Closer. It's probably the best song off that album.
I feel you, and I feel like they haven't come up yet, so it's good to talk about them for a minute. A band that sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time like disassociating their public persona and just shit I've read and heard about them, that they all kind of seem to be assholes and
Yeah.
just in general. Kind of trying to separate that. Like I have a natural inkling sometimes to just like want to hate their new stuff, and it's usually like, yeah, fucking like you guys lost me, whatever. And then it's like if I listen to it a little bit more, I'll be like, all right, I give in, because at the end of the day, I know there's a wealth of this happening. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but they feel like they're from another era.
Yeah.
They feel like a throwback in the same way that your Black Keys and your White Stripes did, and your Raconteurs, anything Jack White touches basically. It kind of feels like the last vestige of the 70s rock that we have left. Like they're definitely still carrying that torch forward, I feel like, and staying true to it. It's like their sound changes a little bit album to album, but they still sound like them. They've never done like a hard left turn or anything like
No.
that. They wear their influences on their sleeve, and they stay in that vein, and they rock the hell out of it, dude. Like I can't.
And to be a band from Nashville
yeah.
and not like be lumped into that like country like association.
Yeah, and I feel like definitely like the first two records were, and even Because of the Times to a certain extent, but this is where they completely transitioned out of that. And I mean, this album was everywhere when it came out. Or really, I take that back. It was not everywhere when it came out. This was one of those that it took like a year and a half before you started hearing these singles everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it was ever present. But I remember when it came out, you were not hearing Use Somebody, Sex on Fire all over the place. Like, it was a little bit of a slow burn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It may have been selling really well, but I feel like I wasn't
Well, I think
hearing it everywhere.
Sex
But
on
radio
Fire won-
always kind of seems to take, like, a little while to catch up sometimes.
Sex on Fire won, I think, a Grammy for Best Record of the Year in rock and roll. Like, record, not like an album, just like the record single. So, I mean, it was a hit, like you said, when it came out. But I don't know really what happened with Mechanical Bull. I don't really ever hear any of those on the radio. I don't know why. But I mean, they're great. I do need to go listen to their new stuff and just
I do I like the lead single off of Walls a lot. I just
because like I
actually sat down and given it a shot.
When Mechanical Bull came out, I heard
I will before the end of the year. Just for top 10 sake.
I heard Temple somewhere, and I was like, Temple? I take one in a temple. I was like, what? And I was like, who? Oh shit, this King's Leon. And I was like, well, they have this whole new album come out. Oh, what the hell? It's like, $13 at Best Buy. Let's buy it. And I was like, oh man, I really like this album. So yeah, but that's my number 3. My number 1 and 2, you're gonna have to give me your 3. I'm gonna have to figure this out, dude, because it's getting it's getting tough.
My number 3 is from 2014, just a couple years ago, and they're a band that has not come up thus far, but had to get them on here. Absolutely adore this record. It is Singles by Future Islands. You listen to them at all?
No.
Brother, more so than anybody that's come up so far, this is what I want you to like throw on your way home tonight when you head out of here.
Do you have the album with you?
No, I don't. Okay. Use your Spotify, man. Okay. But it's just, for me, and I think you might agree with me once you've listened to it, not this album in particular, because all of them are great, but just overall, for me, they're the closest thing we have to like a Joy Division or a New Order. I know New Order is still making new music and stuff, but they're the closest thing we have to that sound in the modern era. It is so closely tied to that vibe and feel, and you will just like musically, you're gonna get on board.
Wait a minute. I think you've made me listen to this before. Name some songs.
Well, Seasons, Waiting on You, probably the best known single from this album, probably their biggest hit to date. But my personal favorite is the closer, A Dream of You and Me, which is an absolutely gorgeous song.
Wrestled by the sea, a loneliness and me. I asked myself for peace and found it at my feet, staring at the sea. All the glitter is gold. Don't believe what you've been told. People lie, people love, people go. But beauty lies in every soul.
I feel like you've played something from them for me before, because now that you mentioned the Joy Division angle of it.
Yeah, well, we'll off mic, we'll take a little journey through that, but I definitely want you to check it out. Some other ones: Sun in the Morning, Back in the Tall Grass, Lighthouse, Fall from Grace. It's stacked. I absolutely love it. They have really no albums that I would be like, oh, they're kind of whatever. Like, check out everything. Their most recent one, The Far Field, from this year, definitely going to be showing up on a top 10 when we get to our best albums of the year. So that's Future Islands. Check them out, brother. The album is Singles from 2014. Your number 2.
My
if
number
you figured
2.
it out.
Yeah, I gotta switch it from how it was
Gotta
written.
commit.
Gotta commit
Yeah,
to
gotta
it.
commit.
My number 2 senior album of all time, 4th album, 808s and Heartbreak. Kanye West,
All right, man.
2008.
Okay.
Yeah, love this album more than any other thing he's put out. Even the stuff where he's like been heavy with the Justin Vernon features. But I got this album not really knowing what to expect, having had Jesse Rue play me The College Dropout. Jesse Rue, I think, gave me like a bootleg version of The College Dropout like 3 weeks before it came out. And, obviously kept up with the hits and like Gold Digger and Jesus Walks and, was it Slow Jams with Twista? That's a great one. She says she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross.
Well, I feel like this episode, more than any episode thus far, you've spent more time talking about songs that are not on these albums.
But that's because I don't know. But this one, I could talk about everything. Welcome to Heartbreak, Love Lockdown, Heartless. That's the one I like.
In the night, I hear him talk, the coldest story ever told. Somewhere far along this road, he lost his soul to a woman so heartless. How could you be so heartless? Oh, how could you be so heartless? How could you be so cold as the winter wind when it breeze, yo? Just remember that you talking to me, though. You need to watch the way you talking to me, yo. I mean, after all the things that we've been through. I mean, after all the things we got into. Hey, yo, I know what some things that you ain't told me. Hey, yo, I did some things, but that's the old me. And now you wanna get me back and you gon' show me. So you walk around like you don't know me. You got a new friend, well, I got homies. But in the end, it's still so lonely. In the night, I hear him talk, the coldest story ever told. Somewhere far along this road, he lost his soul to a woman so heartless.
The music video, how could you be so heartless? But I remember, I want to say this was right around the time that his mother passed away. And I think this is right around the time that Amber Rose and him broke up. I don't really know what the man was going through. Don't really care. All I know is I played a bunch of these songs for Dad, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds good." And then I was like, "What's Kanye West?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what he sounded like."
That's what that guy's about.
Yeah, that's what he's like. Oh, okay. Because I don't know.
Like if you can separate his public persona.
That's my thing. I tell everybody, dude, is like, you don't understand, man. Like the musician, the guy that you get on the album is not the guy that you see. And it goes in line with I throw, and it's probably a weird thing, but to throw him and Seth MacFarlane in the same bucket. But if you were around after a time when you weren't supposed to be, you're not supposed to be walking around, do you really think you would give a shit about anything? Because you're on borrowed time? So Through the Wire on his first album, he's spitting through the wire. His mouth is sewn shut. So by the time you get here, you can have this to me, it feels really cathartic. Again, 808 drum machine, synthesizer, whatever, all that based. And it's my favorite of his. Again, I haven't listened to Life of Pablo. The one he put out that was untitled before that was dope because it had a bunch of Justin Vernon stuff. But this one I go back to. Anytime someone says Kanye West, I instantly go back to Welcome to Heartbreak, Love Lockdown, Paranoid, all those. It's just, I don't know. I loved it. I love it. It's my favorite one he's ever put out. If I got an 808 and Heartbreak 2 for whatever reason, I'd listen to this shit. I listen to shit out of it. It'd probably be amazing.
Okay.
But I don't think we're ever going to go back there. That's the thing I can say about him that you can say about Brand New.
Always evolving.
Always moving.
Changing.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think that's the whole concept with Life of Pablo is that it will never be done. He will always be going back to changing things on it because he's done it 3 times already, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, my number 2, 808s and Heartbreak.
Okay. My number 2, they did actually appear on my list. I think they were on my previous one. I haven't edited that one yet, so it's not fresh in my brain.
Okay.
So this might be a 2-timer. But it is my favorite record from this particular band, which is TV on the Radio. And this album is 9 Types of Light from 2011. I think I've pretty much established my whole, they're just one of those bands I have this weird history with. I love them, and then I hate them, and then I love them again. and then I hate them, and then I love them again. Like, I just go through this cycle with every album. I think it's trash when I first listen to it. I don't know why that is. Most people, I'm able to keep like a hugely open mind, but they always just kind of catch me off guard, but not always in a good way. But this is the epitome of, I took time off from it, and then when I came back to it, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, was I just in a funk that day? What was going on? Because it is incredible. I'll just shout out a handful. Keep Your Heart, great emotional song. And then there's this run right in the back half of the album. Will Do, which is a great like kind of lovelorn ballad, which transitions into New Cannonball Blues, my favorite song on the album.
Hey girls, hey boys, no, don't mind the noise. It's just the sound of being dragged to hell. It's just a pornographic alienation ship as we watch the spider's web eat itself. All this different breath extinguishing all that you've ever known. Turn your touchscreens off and start harvesting the seeds that your parents sown. It got me singing blues, it hits you like a cannonball, loud enough to break your bones. But it was written in blood before they wrote it in stone. So sing it with me like it's your own. It's got me fucked up and dried up and fed up, can't get up and bleeding and crying like I'm mad at the song. I'm a copy, now they got me up, look at where we're going.
Into Repetition, which is just flat out amazing. Go listen to them if you haven't. This is probably the tightest, kind of most controlled record since Cookie Mountain, just in terms of structure. I really, really dig it. I still need to give Seeds, their most recent one, a proper re-listen. I did dig that one initially, which doesn't usually happen with them, so it kind of threw me off. But they're awesome. They kind of, we're talking about evolution a little bit. I feel like they have consistently evolved, but always within the realm of what you kind of expect from them. But, I mean, from Return to Cookie Mountain forward, I mean, they had the endorsement of like hugely influential figures just within the music industry. Like Bowie is a guest vocalist on Return to Cookie Mountain, their second record as a band. Like,
Holy shit.
that shit's insane. And just tons of people were fans, and they were always, I was like, okay, I gotta give these guys a shot. Went back, loved the first two records, hated the third one. Came back to it, loved it. This one, fourth record, favorite thing they've ever done. 9 Types of Light, TV on the Radio. That's my number 2. Can't wait to hear, because you were over there struggling.
Yeah.
You looked so intense. What's
Just
your number 1?
Can you give me a year on your number 1? I don't want to steal it.
It's 1960.
Never mind then. I got you.
Okay.
My number 1. Well, depending on who you are.
We have had zero crossover.
Zero crossover
correct?
on this one, and this is the one I thought might happen. So if you were hanging out in the summer of 2001, you would have called this album "Bleed American" by Jimmy Eat World. But if you were born after and you were hanging out after September 11th, 2001, you would call this album Jimmy Eat World, because they changed the name in lieu of the September 11 attacks. But my number 1, 4th album of all time, is Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World.
Another huge
2001.
blind spot. This is their 4th record?
I was hoping you would not get that at all.
What?
I was hoping that you would not find out.
I had no idea. I always think of this as like their first or second record.
Yeah, it's the 4th studio album, because you forget about. So Jimmy Eat World, Static Prevails, Clarity in '99, which I think Clarity is where you get 17 from, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. If you want to stop talking about tracks that aren't on this album, I'll quit.
I'm seeing Bleed American as their 3rd album, sir. Did you put a
Jimmy Eat World, 1994 debut studio album. Static Prevails.
Okay, fair enough.
The 2nd studio album by American rock band. We'll go to Clarity on the Wikipedia page. 3rd studio album.
I
And then
gotcha.
2001's Bleed American. fourth studio album.
I'm not arguing anymore.
Don't
I'll
try.
I'll shut
Yeah,
the
hey,
fuck up. Go
hey.
ahead.
Don't come for the king unless you're ready to take the throne. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, you're gonna know "Sweetness," "A Praise Chorus," "Bleed American," and of course their most recognizable single of all time, "The Middle."
Yes.
Of course, you know the "Sweetness" will not be concerned with me, so my favorite is "Bleed American." I love that song.
I'm not alone 'cause the TV's on, yeah. I'm not crazy 'cause I take the right pills every day. And dress, clean your conscience, clear your thoughts with space side. With your brain, clean your conscience, clear your thoughts with space side. Salt, sweat, sugar on the asphalt, our hearts glittering and topsoil. Tune in and we can get the best call. Our lives are cold. Salt, sweat, sugar on the asphalt, our hearts glittering and topsoil. Sign up, the picket line will go parade. Our lives.
I can't.
It's a great opener.
Great opener.
We
to a,
I
to
mean,
an
we could
album.
do a top 10 of like best opening tracks, but
Yes.
it would be so hard to do
Yes.
that I don't even want to approach it.
Yeah, I mean that would be something you have to spend at least a week on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was my first introduction to them. I didn't realize they'd had anything before this. Again, I thought it was their first.
Yeah,
But-
no,
but
it makes a lot
something-
more sense now.
Well, what I did to try and find this was I started scrolling through because everybody I was going to, I was like, God, their fourth is terrible. There's nothing on it I like. Their fourth is terrible. I know. And I just, well, okay, let me look Jimmy Eat World. And I was like, wait. Oh, here we go. This might be boom. I've got it. But I was really like, do I, Kanye West, Jimmy Eat World. But like I always go back to Jimmy Eat World. That's like right in the groove of like, they became big. I remember Futures came out next and Pain was big on Futures. That was everywhere. Tony Hawk, everybody seemed to love It Takes My Pain Away. I don't know what it was about that, the riff and beat or just the energy behind it. But a really good one, if you haven't, go listen to Jim, talk to Pete Holmes on You Made It Weird. It's a really good one just to hear where they came from. Because apparently they were like just kind of with another band kind of recording, and they were like, oh, we're going to get a record deal. And like everybody was kind of hyping up the other band that was there, and just kind of out of the ether, out of the blue, they wound up being the one that people like dug because they were better, and they go from there. But it's a really good conversation between him and Pete Holmes. You should definitely listen
I
to
will
it.
definitely go check
But
that
yeah,
out.
number one, Bleed American, Jimmy Eat World.
Definitely would be on my
2001.
honorable mentions. Can't believe I missed it.
Yeah. Does that make up for Vanilla Ice?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
You're working your
I
way
mentioned
back
my
there.
way back. I'm working my way back into your good graces.
We're going, we're taking a long journey back, man. This might be the oldest album that has appeared on any of these lists.
I don't know, dude.
And this is my number one. Actually, no, yep, you predate it.
Yep.
Because we have Buddy Holly.
Yep.
On an album. That's correct. You get that title. Strike that from the record.
It shall be stricken.
But I'm going to take you back a good ways to 1964.
Ooh, close.
To a man who you have now seen live as well. I've seen 3 times. You've seen him once. I'm not bragging over here or anything.
That old guy that sings on the
Shut the fuck up. Hey, I'm going to edit that out.
Okay.
That was unkind.
I could not understand a word that man said.
That's why you got to know the songs before you get there.
Okay.
I'm just saying. We're talking about the immortal, the legendary Bob Dylan and the album Another Side of Bob Dylan. Opens and closes with 2 of my favorite tracks of his of all time. Opening track, All I Really Want to Do.
I ain't looking to compete with you, beat or cheat or mistreat you, simplify you, classify you, deny, defy or crucify you. All I really wanna do is, baby, be friends with you.
and the closer, which you probably know this one, probably from covers more than anything else, but it closes with It Ain't Me, Babe.
No, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me. Okay, yeah, I got it.
I hate you so much right now. You also got Black Cloak. I cannot speak.
Here
Black
comes the
Crow
story
Blues.
of the
You got Spanish Harlem
hurricane.
Incident, Chimes of Freedom, to Ramona. I'll also shout out as well. But it's a fantastic album. It's a nice blend of what you think of as early Dylan in terms of the like social consciousness and everything, but it's also blended with just some straight up love songs or lovelorn songs or breakup songs. And it's great early Dylan. I had to get him on a list here. There's so many of his that I could put on, but a lot of them don't come up till later. So that's gonna be my number one. My favorite senior album of all time, Another Side of Bob Dylan by Bob Dylan.
Oh, that's
You're feverishly looking at your phone. You all good?
What's
so goddamn
the only
funny,
thing
Gavin?
I can think of when you say Bob Dylan is, I stand beside you, little man, at the height of a regular
dude,
guy. Like, I don't know.
always got to take it to Dewey Cox.
I do, man.
But
We've got to talk about Dewey Cox.
Mailboxes drip like lampposts in the twisted birth canal of the Colosseum. Rim job fairy teapots match the temper tantrum. Jose, can you see 'em? Stuffed cabbage is the darling of the laundromat. And the sorority mascot sat with the lumberjack.
I don't know what the
The
fuck
mouse
he's saying.
with the overbite explained how the rabbits weren't snared.
Sorry, and I lose a few verses there, but
Dude, but
Let me touch you. Let me touch you. Oh, let me touch you where the royal jelly gets made.
that's how you do a loving tribute to Bob Dylan.
That is
Without
perfect.
sounding like an asshole, Gavin.
That is perfect. What is it? Don't they turn to like, what the? Like, I don't even know what we're playing anymore.
The song is very deep.
You guys don't even know.
I don't think there's anywhere to go. After
There is nowhere to go. It should have been
brought
done.
it around full circle to Dewey Cox. I'm sure we talked about it on every episode thus far. Somehow everything comes
You
back
know why,
to
Noah?
Walk Hard.
Because Dewey Cox transcends all music.
Yes, and all genres.
All genres and all decades.
All decades, yep. Dude, do you not want... I guess it doesn't need to be Dewey Cox, too, because he dies in the context of that movie, but...
Easy, son. Dewey Cox, that kind of man, got to think
You
about his
could
whole
literally-
life before he performs.
Yeah, you could literally turn it into like one of his billions of children that he had and just like have John C. Reilly play them, but do all of the more modern musical genres.
Oh, dude,
and
he could
stuff.
be Dewdrop.
That would be pretty dope.
Hey, Dewey Raheem.
Copyright the Blanchard brothers, the movie arc.
Can we not?
Don't steal that.
Well, aren't we stealing like intellectual property already?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, how are we? What? Yeah, if we just made a Dewey Cox too.
Or
yeah,
like
I don't
making,
think we can
we're
do
making a sequel
legal.
to someone's intellectual property they've already like released and have a copyright to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guess we can't do that.
Yep.
Anyways, thank you for joining us on this long 4-episode journey through the first 4 albums of different stuff, different bands. Again, we are in desperate need of topics. We're kicking around some different stuff, but we want you to be involved. So shout at us, thearkofe@gmail.com. Shout at us on all of our social media. Pretty easy to find out there. And as always, listen, rate, review, subscribe. Go check out our other podcasts, Carpenter Revisited, the Movie Arc, and the 4-Color Arc as well.
Yes. Check them all out. Like, rate, subscribe, review, feedback.
Yeah. You've got, at the very least, a new episode of something every week. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we're rolling out an episode for each cast, on a weekly basis on
Right
a
now,
semi-regular schedule. We're just kind of flying by the
Right
seat
now,
of
the
our pants
calendar,
right now.
the calendar looks like we're trying to solve a murder. It's like string and it's ping, ping, ping. It's like it's all over the place. So
Yes.
yeah.
But until next time, when I assume we'll just be talking about the Killers on the next
pretty
episode you
much.
hear, and then let us know for topics in the future. But until then, I have been Noah,
And I've been Gavin.
and we've been the Blanchard Brothers. Thanks for listening, guys.
Mailboxes drip like lampposts in the twisted birth canal of the Colosseum. Rim job, fairy teapots, mask the temper tantrum. Oh, say, can you see 'em? Stuffed cabbage is the darling of the laundromat, and the sorority mascot sat with the lumberjack. Pressing, passing, stinging, half-synthetic fabrications of his time. The mouse with the overbite explain how the rabbits were ensnared. In the skinny, self-thrashed, the apothecary diplomat inside the three-eyed monkey within inches of his toaster oven life. In my mind, I'm half blind. My inner wrath is mostly death. I'm smelling pears, if you cared. My sense of taste is wasted on the phosphorescent orange peels of San Francisco axe-encrusted frenzy. So let me touch you, let me touch you, let me touch you, let me touch you, where the royal jelly gets made.
I'm looking to hear any songs here on the record. I just said to you while my guitar gently whimpers. Oh no, it's a bad trip.
Like to thank Eddie Vedder.
You want to go do LSD, do we?
No limit to what we can imagine.
Yeah, look, we still let you be in the Beatles.